Good. All right, we'll start off with some good news. We've got a new addition to the Sloop family. The Aikens just had a baby boy, Robert Axel Aikens. So a new addition to the family. And I know he was a very nervous coach on Saturday. She had started to go into labor, during game time. So he had his phone on the side just in case he received a phone call. So. But the timing here is working it out on Monday was a pretty good deal. Other than that, we'll open it up.
Who are you going to start at quarterback this week?
We haven't gone down that road yet offensively. Offensive staff's been working on their stuff. Defensive staff, we've been working on our stuff. And right now this afternoon we'll get together and kind of hash out some of the logistics and see where we're at and what the plan is for Tuesday.
How are you guys treating this game? Obviously, the playoffs isn't in the picture anymore, but, just to go out on a winning note, what's going to kind of be the approach or the mindset for this team?
Well, this is a big game. I mean, it's, number one, a conference champion could be decided in this game, so if you don't think that doesn't put some significance into it, then you don't think we're much of a competitor. And, plus, we got a group of seniors, it's their last game. Plus, it's been told to the underclassmen too, this is an opportunity to get the program going in the right direction, to have a good end to a season. Going into the off season, there's a big difference between a 7-5 record and a 6-6 record, and there's a lot of momentum that can be built off of that. We can still finish in the upper echelon of the Missouri Valley Football Conference, which is the best football conference in the country. So, you talk about stuff being at stake, I'd say there's quite a bit at stake here, and that message has been given.
What would you say is the mood of the team right now?
Well, I think that right now they're as they should be, extremely disappointed that the game ended the way it did on Saturday, but I also think they don't want to go out with that type of experience on the season. So I'm hoping to see on Tuesday a very determined team that's going to come out and lock in and have some of our best practices of the years to allow us to play our best game of the year.
Is Trey Roberson, is he the most mobile quarterback you guys have seen, or the most dual threat quarterback you've seen this year?
Yeah, we've seen, that seems to be the trend in college football right now is that type of quarterback, and we've seen some very good ones. But right now, I'd say he probably has the most complete package as far as being a run threat and a passing threat. His accuracy is good. He's capable of throwing the deep ball on you, and he's definitely capable of making the big run on you. So, both him and their running back are, that's 80% of their offense right there. So they're a pretty good 1-2 combo.
How do you compare their running back with the ones you've seen this year?
Well, I think, David Johnson, from what I hear and seen is, he's an NFL caliber back, and there's a good chance that he'll be playing in the NFL next year. So, if he's compared in that category, he's pretty good. But his play has really, he's just a junior. From what we saw last year to what he's doing this year, he's really stepped up his game. He's bigger than Larry, but he kind of reminds me of Larry Warner when he runs. He has that ability to change direction. He has a good burst. He can outrun you to the end zone if he gets a step on you. He's difficult to bring down, so that'll be our challenge, is we got to get as many hats on him as we can when we tackle.
Coach, Saturday turnovers certainly hurt you, and that's kind of been a pattern for some of the big games you've played. Do you feel like you've done everything to prepare them, or do you think that falls on the leadership of your team to do a better job?
Well, it's turnovers. If you can find the answer to it, every team in the country keeps track of the turnover margin because it is that important. But how much control do you have? There are certain plays that you call that may have a little more risk value. So you can be extremely conservative and take care of the football, but then you're going to have a tough time moving the football down the field. So, that's part of the calculated gambles that you take going into a game. The thing that I just looked at was, you know, the points that are coming off of the turnovers. This is what's really killing us. But right now, we're -6 on the season. That's not a good number for a turnover, but it's not something that's crazy. The number that is crazy in the past 4 games that we've lost are points off of turnovers. Opponents have gotten 47 points, we've only gotten 7. You know, so that is the difference right there, is that when the turnovers do happen, do occur, they're usually being very costly to us, you know, at the worst possible place or time, and you know, right now, that's what set us back against you know, the teams that we've struggled against.
You know, with the turnovers, do you feel like it's more unforced errors, you know, stuff that you guys are doing, or stuff that opposing teams are doing to you?
Well, again, you're getting into stuff there. Each turnover is unique and independent of, you can't clump them all together, you know, because there's different situations. Sometimes it's the pressure that's on you and you make a throw and it's just because you were under pressure. Sometimes you make a wrong read. You know, sometimes it goes right through the hands of your receivers. You make the perfect read, perfect throw, and the ball's not caught. You know, so, and those are all scenarios that occurred, you know, with our turnovers. So you try to make your team aware of it. You try to emphasize, take care of the football. If we can go through a game and only have 1 turnover, we're usually going to have a chance to be pretty successful. But when you have 4, when you have 5, you're not going to win many games.
Towards the end of the year, your teams have usually played pretty well. You know, you're supposed to play your best football at the end of the year. Do you feel like you guys are improving in some areas?
Well, watching the Northern Iowa game, and again, we gave up 27 points, basically with 2 offensive plays. They had 2 offensive plays, and that accounted for 27 points. Now, watching the film, we had some of our players play their best football of the season. We had some guys that were exactly at the level that you want them to be at as a coach, and you're watching that film and you like what you see. The thing that we need to do now as a football team is we got to pull it together. We got to make that complete game. You look at the mistakes that we make and why they happen. I wish I would know how to say the magic phrase to make it stop, but when you fumble a punt in your end zone, just because you don't look it into your hands, I mean, that's elementary football. You can't make those mistakes. You know, you can't throw a pick 6 when you're backed up on your own 6-yard line. I mean, those are things that are obvious, but those are the mistakes that we're making, which is negating some pretty good play at this point in time.
You know, what's the injury update, you know, for this week?
Again, we need to see, you know, with Malcolm Agnew would be the one I'm curious to see how he's going to be able to go. You know, I guess probably doesn't look good, but you know, we'll just kind of see where he's at as the week progresses. You know, Brandon Williams will probably be out, and then you know, I think anyone that got hurt on Saturday, we'll see how they go on Tuesday, Wednesday, but we're thinking most of them will be back.
When you look at Illinois State, is this the best offense you've seen from them overall?
From Illinois State, or yeah, it's again their 1-2 combo is pretty impressive. You know, they've been in some tight battles in the conference. You know, I think that's the thing that you know, we're taking a look at too. They've been fortunate to win some ball games. You know, Indiana State had them on the ropes and you know, had a chance to win that ball game. Western Illinois had them on the ropes, had a chance to win that ball game. You know, Northern Iowa was very impressive in their win over Illinois State. You know, so it's a typical Missouri Valley football team where, you know, they got their strengths, and that's going to be the challenge, is trying to match up with them.
What do you see their strengths on defense? You know, the numbers say one thing, but what do you see when you watch them on tape?
Well, they're pretty athletic. You know, that's probably the athleticism with their overall defense. They run well to the ball. They seem very capable to make plays when the opportunity are there. They've knocked down quite a few balls, which tells you that they have a good instincts, a good feel, for the game. So, that's and like anyone, you got to be good with your run defense. Even though it's usually the passing game that puts up the stats, but it's always comes down to if you got good run defense, that's going to bode well for you.
And Coach, 7-5 last year. You got a chance to be 7-5 this year. Do you feel like the program is in the place you want it to be, or is it in neutral?
No, I
or
want
is
us
it
12-0. I mean, I want us in the playoffs. I want to win conference championships. That's where the program should be. So there's no denying that. There's no, trying to hide from that. We don't want to be 7-5. I don't want to be 7-5. But again, it's pretty easy to say it, and it's just it is what it is right now. We have to have our game at a extremely high level because this league is unforgiving, and if you don't have it as one of the best programs in the country, you're going to end up 7-5. I mean, that's the bottom line of it. So that's the challenge.
what don't you have that you think you need to get?
Well,
past?
again, that's a very simple question, because you go into the season and you hope you do have what you need to have. But until you go through the games, until you see how everything unfolds, that's the thing with recruiting. Recruiting's an educated guess. That's the thing you got to realize is that when you recruit, they all look good. Their numbers are going to be great. They're going to, is this the next, Day G? Is this the next, Brandon Jacobs? Well, you don't know until you get them in camp, and then as the season progresses, then you kind of find out your true nature of your team and who they are and how they play, and then you make assessments from there. So it's that's why they call it building a team, and once you get there, then it's a matter of maintenance and finding the same guys that can come in and continue to do it. That's why it's extremely impressive when you get a team like North Dakota State that's doing it, because they are what they are year in, year out. Illinois State, they were 5-6 last year, so they were building on what they were doing, and not to mention Indiana State, where they were at last year. That was extremely impressive with their turnaround, and same thing with Youngstown. I mean, it's a process. It is a process that is challenging, and that's why there's always a revolving door with head coaches, because there is no exact science to it.
Given the competitiveness of the conference and the teams in it, how many teams do you feel like should get into the postseason from Missouri Valley?
I think 5. I think if there's any less than 5, again, the playoffs aren't being true to the best teams in the country, and I just think that's a number. I think those 5 teams, if they get in, they'll represent the conference very well. You'll probably see some extremely lopsided scores, which is usually the case that you do see during playoff times, just because there are huge differences between the conferences.
Anything else?
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Coach.